Hello everybody, this is Maniac4Bricks, and I am here today with another MOC video. This one is simply called Waterfall. This is supposed to be a little scenery in nature in which my sig fig is going out on a hike and discovers a waterfall on the edge of a mountain. So let's take a closer look at some of the appearance before we get into the main function of the model. And yes, this does have a very cool function to it. Now, the model is mainly comprised of dark bluish gray, dark gray, light bluish gray, light gray, reddish brown, and the original brown pieces in all different kinds of bricks and slopes and plates and more. So that way it gives a very organic sense to it. You have all these different wacky angles so that it doesn't look, too industrialized, too rigid, Yeah, I gotta have more of an organic scene with it, and I try to incorporate as many angles as possible for making this formation. Granted, I did use a lot of large ugly rock pieces, which is counteracting that, because it just, fills in the space very easily and has a lot of flat surfaces. But I still think it fits very well so that you have a lot of different footholds and little crevices in between that you could explore if you were a mountain climber and going to the top of the structure. Now on the structure we also have several plants on the bottom, a lot of trees down here kind of representing the forest scene that's bringing the cliff and the forest together. But we also have some more plant life on the top. We have some in olive green, the old green, and some of the bright green, so that it shows a little bit more plant life is moving upward towards the top of this mountain. We also have an area over here on the right side where the water is shown to be simulated to be falling off the cliff. And I actually tried to make a little bit of a bank area around there with some rocks so that it really gives the impression of water moving and going down the mountain. And I don't really mind the plates being through because maybe the water seeping through little cracks in between rocks. Now the rocks are also arranged pretty interestingly towards the bottom where we have that pool where the water is landing in. We also have some white slopes in here that act as kind of like a foam. As the water falls down, it would create, just interact with the air and look very white in color. So I thought that was a good representation there. We also have a bit of representation of water moving about with the cheese slopes towards the bottom. So that way you get to see it like kind of being reflected by sunlight, but also moving back and forth as the water is being deposited. Now as we move the model towards the back, you'll actually get to see a little bit of hollowness to the model. This was intended to be used at Brickfest Live in Meadowlands, New Jersey, and it worked very well. And this only took me about 3 hours and somewhere between 400 and 500 pieces to build. But from this side, as we see it now, this is the exhibitor side where I'd be standing on a table. The audience would see the front as you saw it in the beginning. Now this has several power functions hooked up to it. We're starting with a power functions motor, a IR receiver, and a battery box. I also have off-screen this remote control that interacts with the IR receiver. So when I turn on this model using the battery box, I simply change the speed of the waterfall with the remote control. And it may look a little odd from this side, but as we turn this around towards the front, you'll get a better feel of how this model is supposed to work. The chain is supposed to be carrying some plates up and down on a link. And the idea is that it looks like water is actually falling from the audience perspective. Again, I can change the speed in which this is falling, so I can make it a very rushing waterfall, or I can make it a little bit calmer so that you can see it kind of drooping down. Maybe it's a very light area. So I really like this effect, and I like the mechanism that went into it. It was one of the most difficult things, but it was a very enjoyable thing. Once I got the mechanism to work right, I was very satisfied with it. And I really like the effect that it had at different speeds. I also kind of appreciated just working with Technic and incorporating it into a LEGO model and being the base for what the LEGO model was. It was something that was at a few times challenging, especially with connecting the chain all together Sometimes the plates would fall off and I'd have to take the whole thing out and replace it. But overall, I think it actually worked out very nicely as a MOC, and I'm really happy to have it as a small display. It's not one of my most advanced MOCs by any means, but it's a start in the right direction. So thank you for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to check out some other MOCs that I've created on my channel. If you want to check out more about the BrickFest live event and more of the displays I was a part of during that event, you can check that out in a separate video on my channel. And we'll see you guys next time with more LEGO videos.